Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dragon Talk. I am Greg Tito, and I am without Shelly today because she's very important. But we do have two very awesome people who also are very important. We have Wolfgang Baur.
Hi there.
And Meagan, I'm going to screw up your last name. Meagan
Maricle.
Maricle. I was going to say Marigold, and it would have been close.
You're all good.
Oh, good. Wolfgang, of course, is the Kobold-in-Chief of Kobold Press.
That's me.
You might have heard him on the podcast before.
I've been here before. You keep inviting me back. I don't know why.
Because you keep emailing on 6-month intervals.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I miss you, Greg.
Let's hold hands and talk.
And talk gaming.
With microphones in front of us. And Meagan, you are the first one here. The first time here, rather.
Yes, yes.
You are the editor. Have you done a lot of... I'm getting right into the interview when we're still doing like intro stuff because I want to get like right to the heart of it all.
Sure.
But you're the editor of a lot of Wolfgang Press stuff. Wolfgang Press.
Oh, awesome. Why didn't
You're
I
changing
think of
it
that?
now, right?
No, it's Kobold Press. It's not changing.
Okay, good. Phew, that was close. So yes, you're the editor.
Yes.
Okay, good. What does that mean, real quick, for folks who don't know what an editor does in an RPG product?
That means I make everybody else sound good.
Okay.
Well, written-wise, not sound-wise.
That's why the interviews always sound bad.
She dropped some sick beats at the club afterwards. No, I mean, we hand things to Megan, and they come back better. That's really what it is.
That's what I hope. I mean, if they came back worse, then I probably wouldn't still be working
You
with
would not be in the field, no.
That's true.
Pursuing other opportunities.
Right.
How long have you been doing stuff with this guy?
June, July?
Yeah, it's relatively recent, but got kind of a track record in the industry, right? Like periodicals.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Cool. Well, we'll get into the heart of your exciting new product that you just announced on the Kickstarter very soon. What's it called?
It's called the Creature Codex.
Nice.
It's alliterative. It's a book of creatures that is a codex. Like, it's sort of like a manual if it had monsters in it.
But that was taken.
But that was taken, so we went with the next best thing.
That makes sense. Yeah. And you did the widely successful Tome of Beasts.
It's basically Tome of Beasts 2 Electric Boogaloo, which some people wanted us to actually use as the title, but no.
Because that's probably copyright too, Electric Boogaloo. I didn't even think about that, but it probably is.
Yeah, I wasn't going that road. But Creature Codex is the new Tome of Beasts, and it's already huge. It funded in like 2 hours, and we've got 1,700 backers, and we're I'm over the moon about it, right? It's like sequels. Sequels are hard. What if nobody cares about part 2?
Yeah.
No, it turns out people care.
Yeah, there's no sophomore slump for this type of thing.
Not for Kobold Press.
I like it.
No.
I thought you said you were over the moon. I thought you were going to do like Tom Cruise, like get up on the couch and start jumping around Oprah style. You were almost there.
You get a monster manual. You get a monster manual.
Everybody. And yes, yeah, all right.
No, I'm not going.
Do I get one?
Where's your couch? Okay, next time bring in. Yeah,
it's over there. I know.
Sorry.
I like being tense and
focused
and have a desk in front of me.
All right.
Right. I think the couch. Yeah, right. Because the couch would be too relaxed. I just would fall asleep.
It's not your style.
It's not my style, right? Exactly.
So apparently, you're that boring that he would fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That was implied.
That was implied. I saw the dig. I felt the shade being thrown, but that's Greg, man.
It's true.
It's subtle.
You got to dig deeper. So Dungeons and Dragons has got some fun stuff going on. We have Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Have you guys seen it?
Yes. It's kind of amazing. People have been looking for this. I don't know how long, right? I mean, the teasers, the Unearthed Arcana, the years of build-up, and then it finally hit.
I know, right? And it's like a bestseller. I've never even seen that before.
Yeah, congratulations to your New York Times best-selling self, right?
We are nonfiction. Do you know that? It's in the nonfiction category.
I wouldn't even argue with them, right? Like, wherever. It's a bestseller. Why is it nonfiction? I don't understand that part.
Because beholders are real. You just got to accept it.
It's true. Yeah, Meagan knows.
See, they're sort of a hidden group, right? Underground. Yeah. Nobody hears about them. Memory wipes.
People that do, exactly, the memory wipes.
Okay, this explains a lot about like my social calendar. Like every Saturday, I'm like, go to Waterdeep, go clubbing with the elves, electronic dance music, whatever. And I come back and I'm like, what did I do this weekend? Were there beholders involved? I don't know.
Did you have a dream about a beholder?
No.
Because that's how beholders get made.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one beholder has a dream of another beholder, and another beholder
It's just like
appears
from the head of Athena.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I've been reading my girls Greek myths. I got a Greek myths book at the book fair that has this like amazing art. It's actually, I think it's a National Geographic imprint of the Greek myth story. It's amazing, and they are always asking the wrong questions. Like, why does Zeus have so many wives? I'm like,
did you have to focus on that part?
Right, and it starts with like the Titans and Kronos eating babies,
all the children.
Yeah, and they're
yes.
like, does that work? Can you? I'm like, no, it's just a story.
Would that pass muster at like standards and practices? Here, the devouring children. I don't know.
Yeah, but they love it. And like
Great
we want
bedtime stories.
It is good bedtime stories, right?
For nightmare fuel.
Right, and then the imagery, the specific volume that we have is got these really crazy art. It almost like rivals like D&D books, but they had the Titans with the 100 heads and the Cyclopses, and they all wanted. I kind of like glossed over that and went to the next page. Like, no, turn back. I want to study this picture and find out more. It has 100 heads and 30 arms, and I'm like, oh yeah.
How does that work? Can we go back to Zeus and his wives?
Exactly. Luckily, this book is very good about like they just took a wife, and that's how it all happens, and so I don't have to explain that much. But it's all there; it's all implied.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Next, I'll be reading them Tome of Beasts and Electra Boogaloo too. That's my bedtime story.
Yeah, that's. Well, honestly, there's a lot of horrible, horrible stuff out of world myths and legends picked up right there.
Yeah.
Plus the stuff that comes from the brains of various designers associated with the project. I mean, Sean Mervyn and James Hake and Dan Dillon, just to name three. They're all dark, evil people. And they like to make players suffer.
Exactly.
So...
Well, that's all.
I have to read and edit how they make people suffer and make it actually sound good. And I'm like, I'm ruining somebody's life now. This is great.
Well, they have to experience the suffering from you before they know how to translate that into suffering for their players.
Right, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're passing it on. You're serving a service.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
And you're doing a good job, too, because it's really creepy, the stuff that's in Tome of Beasts, and I'm sure is going to be in Creature Codex, too.
Oh, yeah. We skew dark. Somebody asked us recently, what's your aesthetic at Cobalt Press? I had to think about it for a while. I'm like, well, we have a rule, no science fiction. We just don't do that. But the more positive rule is, we skew dark. So, dark fantasy.
Yeah, not happy-go-lucky princesses in a tower.
There's an angel or two.
There are, but
Yeah.
they're like the biblical angel of death and doom and destruction. If you go into your
They're
classic,
still angels.
they are, but they're like, it's a wheel of fire and it destroys the city. Oh, okay, that'll be fun.
It's like the blood on top of the doorway kind of angel. Not
It's the
hey,
angel you
Right.
definitely want to have pass over. and
Right.
Not
the cherubs.
no.
No cherubs.
No.
Can we have like an evil cherub at least? Can
Well,
that be?
there's kind of a fae that's kind of like that.
Yeah, there is. There is? I don't remember
He
that
like
one.
sneaks into people's beds at night, paralyzes them, and then like as they wake up in their nightmares, he's like grinning on top of them.
Yes, the sort of classic night terrors.
Sleep paralysis.
monster, which, I don't know. I think there's a lot to be done with nightmares and like long rests and short rests and turning them into less comfortable times of play.
Exactly.
You're all going to take a long rest, huh? All right.
All right.
Are
you sure?
You sure? Because you remember what happened last night.
It all went to crap.
Well, that evil fae come through, and you wake up, and your party is, didn't we have a party of 5? No. No, you've got a party of 4. That's all you remember.
Oh.
Memory wipe.
That Fox sitcom didn't do as good.
No, it really
Party of 4.
Party of 4. It was just missing something, wasn't it?
It was missing one thing. I can't put my finger on it. It was an actor from that series that I can't remember. That would have been a good if I had like the button to have that actor's name, but it was I don't remember anything from that show.
Trivia from the show. No,
No,
sorry.
Did you watch Party of 4?
No, I did not.
Good for you. I think you're a better person
Yeah.
because of it.
You lucked out.
Fair enough.
So I feel like I got to do like 2 more announcements. Then
Do
we'll
the
get
announcements. Tell
to
me
our
more.
segment. Then we'll get to our interview, and it'll be just the continuation of everything we've just been talking about. So, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. has a new event. It's coming out Monday, December 18th. You'll be able to unlock and gear up Dadius the Scarlet, which was one of the characters you could play in Betrayal at Baldur's Gate.
Right.
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So,
but I do now.
You do now, right? And of course, it spurred all these like "Who's your Dadius" stupid memes on Twitter. Thank you, Trevor Kidd, for that one. You did a good job. But no, you should go check that out. And Idle Champions is a fun game because you can set up your party and they adventure in the Forgotten Realms through the Sword Coast. They're going through Chult right now, killing lots of dinosaurs with zombie dinosaurs out there. But you can set it up and then you can kind of walk away. And it'll collect loot, collect all the, kill all the XP and monsters, and then you come back and you've earned all this stuff, and then you can level up your guys again and get them better and more successful at what they do. So it's called an idle game for that reason. It's tons of fun. It's on Steam. Go check it out. And there's also some fun stuff coming down. From the Tales from Candlekeep, Tomb of Annihilation is available on Steam as well, which is a fun translation of the Tomb of Annihilation game that our friends WizKids made. So there's 2 versions of that board game out there in the wild right now. One is the premium version. It's got all the minis from WizKids in pre-painted glory.
I love those.
So if you wanted to stock up on a lot of Tomb of Annihilation appropriate minis, that's an easy way to do it. But there's also the slightly less expensive one color plastic version, which has all those miniatures, but just in one color plastic, so you don't, if you just want to play the board game. And it's all compatible with other adventure system games. So if you have Legend of Drizzt or Wrath of Ashardalon or Castle Ravenloft, you can play all those within there.
All to scale.
Right.
All work together.
But if you don't have any friends or just want to play on a Tuesday night at 10 p.m., which is usually what happens to me, you can boot up Tales from Candlekeep, the Tomb of Annihilation game, and basically have that same experience, but in a single-player AI-driven strategy board game.
The AI cheats, doesn't it?
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's challenging. You have to get some really good decision-making skills in order to beat those scenarios.
I love how the AI that doesn't work with you is always the smart one.
That's right. Always.
Yeah.
Always the one that goes against you is like the one that is the genius.
It's recognized you're the threat, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you. You are from Meat Space. I'm getting rid of you. I will.
We are Skynet, and we are Legion.
Yes. Steam is headed that way, man.
It is.
It's all about tactics and winning.
But Dungeons & Dragons isn't about winning. It's about cooperating and, killing some angels. If you're by
yes, it is.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
We're bringing the dark kobold edge.
Exactly.
Right there.
Yeah, right. That's why I was bringing it back around. All right, so we're doing callbacks already, even before we get to our first segment. So let's throw it to a segment that you guys will listen to. It'll be a fun lore you should know. Yes. And you should know it at the end of this.
I wish to know it.
All right, let's do it. All right, let's pretend that was a segment that we just listened to.
Through the magic of video.
Yeah, exactly. How are you guys doing in Twitchland, speaking of video? Are you having fun? Oh, yeah, the bundle is very good. They're talking about the Humble Bundle that's up.
Oh, man, I haven't even said a word about the Humble Bundle.
That's a lot of stuff, right? Are you guys doing a Humble Bundle, too?
We are. We're doing the Dungeons, Monsters, and Dragons 5th edition bundle.
Nice.
Which is, Tome of Beasts is in there. And 30 other things for $17.
Oh, I didn't realize there was an RPG bundle too.
There is an RPG bundle on Humble Bundle. It's not as big as the video game bundle.
Okay.
But we're doing one, and of course it's for charity, and Kobold Press has a ton of titles in it.
Nice.
So we love Humble Bundle.
I do too. Yeah. Even though they're now bought by IGN, right?
What?
I know. Did you know that?
No.
They are in like the IGN
umbrella.
Future publishing.
We own your...
Yeah. Everything's going to be owned by the same people eventually.
It's headed that way.
Yeah, right.
Hasbro, why are you not buying IGN?
Because Comcast bought us or something.
Oh, all right. Darn it.
Dang it.
Dueling corporate entities.
I know. Now I want to make up Netrunner corporations that now are going to own us at this point.
Yeah, Netrunner is kind of...
Yeah, the Wyland Corporation?
Yes.
Or Consortium? Is it? I forget which one.
I don't know.
Yeah. We'll say Consortium because
it sounds
more...
Consortium sounds better and
I like
more
that
ominous.
Yeah, and you were like, no sci-fi. We don't do that. And here I am grilling you on it.
I'm going to let Megan make the editorial call on which is the more ominous term.
I like Consortium. It also sounds a little more formal too. It has the same oomph that We Are Legion does.
That's right. We have a suit and tie and we will destroy you.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's creepier that way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a really good segment. I feel like I learned so much from Chris and Matt and maybe even Jeremy with the sage advice. I'm not even sure which one's happening at this moment, but it was a great segment.
Yes.
And what did you guys think?
It was amazing. I feel like I heard something.
Very enlightening.
I feel like there was some audio that played in the interim there.
Right.
I'm going to have to go back and check it later.
You will. And then I want a full report.
It'll be on your desk in the morning, sir.
Great. I'm giving Wolfgang a TPS report assignment. I'm going to have to ask you to come in on a Saturday. So thank you guys for coming down and being here physically in our offices here in Renton and talking about some fun holiday gift you're giving the Kickstarter community.
Yes. Oh, my goodness, we are. We didn't think we were going to do this for the holidays. We thought this would kickstart months ago, but in the nature of things, we held it out till Christmas, just about. And it's the Creature Codex, 300 new monsters compatible with 5th edition. Because I got tired of people asking me, when are you doing the next Tome of Beasts? When are you doing the next Tome of Beasts? And all that time, I'm thinking quietly to myself, we've been working on it for 6 months, but we're not ready to announce yet.
And then that 6 months turned to 9 months.
6 months turned more like 8, 9. And it's like, all right, we better press the button on this thing. And yeah, we've made a ton of progress. We've funded in 2 hours, and from here on, it's all gravy. It's all stretch goals. More work for Meagan is really what it is. More monsters headed your way.
Yeah, so you're doing the editing of this, and you said you've been working on it already, right? So the manuscript has already been mostly done, and now it's just about adding the backer stuff?
Right, and then a few other cleaning up monsters and things like that, making sure everything looks good.
Nice. So if people want to know more about what editing is in the RPG business, what can you tell them?
Oh, goodness. That's a rough question.
Right, because it's different than like a narrative where you're just talking about story, but it's some of that, but then you also have to, you mentioned like math, making sure all the math was right.
Right, and that's what I like about it, because I'm one of those people that really likes English and math. So for me, it's fun, because when you're editing just narrative, which I've done previously, it's all just words constantly, right? And the only math, I guess, in it is just making sure that things stay consistent. You know, if in Chapter 1 his eyes are blue, then in Chapter 10 his eyes should probably still be blue, right?
Unless it's a story point.
Or a spell.
Exactly, right.
Right, but generally.
But when editing for RPGs and stuff, you get to break all that up with all of the math and everything like that. But then you still have to make sure that same consistency is there, right? If you name, you know, the spawn of this creature, make sure that the spelling's still the same, and that actually makes sense that, you know, the demon of lies has a spawn that tells the truth. It would not match, right? You know?
There's
so
a
little
certain
consistency.
I mean, consistency is a huge thing. I see in your comments sometimes back to designers, it's like, you say this, but I don't think you meant that, right? And I'm like, well, as a designer, having gotten these notes many times myself, I'm usually, my first reaction is, no, wait. Oh, yeah, you're right. Because
you don't know me. I'm the creator here. Oh, yeah,
I'm wild and inventive. I can do anything. You're not the boss of... Wait, that's logical. You're right. And so, I mean, that's really why editing is making things better, right? Is the new set of eyes. It's because no matter how much you proofread your own stuff, people invariably find they missed the thing you missed at the first place, right? Mm-hmm. So...
Because you have too much investment in your own stuff, so you know what you meant.
Yep. It's like in playtest, right? I'm running a playtest of something I wrote. Well, I'm filling in all the blanks that I forgot to put in the manuscript because I'm running my own stuff.
Yeah. So do you feel like you encounter that problem a lot with RPG designers, where it's like it's all in your head and you didn't quite get it all down on the paper?
Right. Well, in a lot of designs too, it's passion work, right? Because people are really passionate about what they do. So they're all into it, and they know exactly what they want. You can tell their heart's into it, and that's one thing I really like about editing too. Because you know, I play things like clerics and stuff like that. I like making people look good, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I can tell this is, you know, their precious, their baby, right? Even if it's a multi-headed devouring demon, right? You know, it's still it's their precious baby. So I like to make sure that any changes I make are very careful. You know, and making sure that, hey, this isn't quite, you know, what I think you mean, but here's an adjustment that probably works without destroying your concept.
Right. That makes sense. Yep. Do you play a lot of D&D or
yes.
RPGs in general?
I like RPGs.
When did you start playing?
when I was about 8.
No way, really?
Yes.
8 years old?
Yeah, my mother and stepfather are both really into, well, AD&D, so 2nd edition. And I played a lot of that as a kid and then evolved into 3rd. I'd skipped 4th and went from 3rd to 5th. Played a lot of 3 and 3.5.
That's cool.
And a lot of 2nd edition, which was tons of fun.
Nice.
My favorite was when we did Council of Worms.
Oh, yeah.
It's where I got this. We had a
really?
table with a bunch of old product that we were passing out to people, and I grabbed this awesome adventure.
Oh, no.
And I just happened to see that it had a name on the bottom, Wolfgang Baur.
Yes.
The Adventures Doom of Daggerdale.
Indeed.
And it was, and I didn't realize this was TSR in the UK.
What?
I think they published it.
Huh?
I think.
No, it was published in the States, too. Oh, you have the British edition.
Maybe.
It's a rarity.
No, I think it just has the both of them on there.
Oh, okay.
No, I was wrong.
Maybe they
93.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, does this hold up? Is this as good as it was when you made it?
So my memory of these events 20 years ago.
Yes.
20.
And who edited them?
Well, to be fair, Georgia Stewart was the editor, and so she made me look good. Oh my God, these names all take me back. Dawn Murin did the cartography. Angelica did the type. Pasted it up by hand. And the interior art is by Tony DiTerlizzi. And the cover is Jeff Easley. So
Yeah, that's it. The cover's what caught my eye even before the Wolfgang Baur down there.
yeah, you know, I tried to keep this one simple because it was kind of fairly low level, and I didn't know a lot about the realms. I was more a Greyhawk guy at the time. So I'm like, I'll just pick one Dale and make sure I don't leave. And since then, I've gotten, you know, occasional notes about, you're the Daggerdale expert. It's like, no, I was told, rate one, you've got a week. And no, it wasn't that bad. It was
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Dagger Falls, the Dream Fever. Yeah, I remember this. Well, I think it holds up, but I would, right?
And that's why we're going to play it right now with the expert dungeon master who wrote it. And you don't even need a copy because you have it all memorized, right?
It's all black and white. When did we start? Color came along on television long before color in RPGs.
I know, right?
Further adventures.
And 93 is you know, that cusp year, right? Where it feels like it was a lot of 2nd edition stuff was getting made, but yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right. Yeah, totally awesome. New magic item, the Net of Dreams.
Ooh, I
also,
like that.
they raised somebody from the dead, and he's been doing bad stuff ever since they brought him back.
When are you going to do a tome of magic items?
Oh. February?
You heard it here first, folks.
Well, I think Megan edited our PDF, putting our toe in the water, right? Items Wondrous Strange. It's a PDF of like 55 new D&D magic items.
Nice.
Weird ones, some of them.
I like the weird ones.
Yeah. So, and people said, hey, that was great. How about a few hundred more? And we said, that may take some time. But yeah, it's amazing what's coming out, like not just from Cobalt, but everywhere, right? Like the Guild Adepts and other companies.
Yeah.
Because there's room, right, to do something weird and different. So
yeah, with Xanathar's Guide to everything out there, it kind of covered a bit of the core classes stuff that you know doesn't necessarily work as well on Dungeon Masters Guild. Although there is like tons of stuff on there with new character classes, but it's more, I think, adventures and story and narrative stuff does a lot better
like the
on
magic
there.
item section felt really flavorful, but not all that powerful, right?
Yeah. I think Chris went into those with the idea of like, here's something that's will add to the story flavor of your game way more than overpowering.
Right. It's like, well, everybody wants the Vorpal Blade, sure. But wouldn't you also like to have some magic that just makes your character cooler without...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the, I forget what the name of it, but there's the robe that does it flows back behind you, so you look really epic whenever there's a shot of you.
You look epic at every opportunity. It's like, what paladin doesn't want that? What bard doesn't want that?
Exactly.
They all want that.
Right?
Heck, my wizard wants that.
I know. So. I want to design a spell that's basically like I talked about this on the podcast before, but like the playwright spell, where like here's the show, and then like it's like a illusion magic that you basically just program with whatever text and stage directions that you want it, and you could sell that as a magic item to go to different fantasy cities, and they could put up your show.
Put up your show. It's like, well, it's like puppeteering without the need for tawdry puppets.
Exactly. It's like the DVD player of the fantasy world.
All right. I think you've given us enough to work with. We're going to take your idea and run with it.
Like, nice.
Royalties headed your way.
I love it. I want my bard character, who's like the Jeffrey Katzenberger, or like whatever. It's like the media mogul who's going to take over all fantasy realms with his illusion spell. All right, let's do it.
All right.
Done and done.
I'm on board.
So you played a lot. Well, going back to you, Meagan. You played a lot when you were a kid. You said when you were 8. When were you dungeon mastering then, or were you just playing?
The first game I ever dungeon mastered, I was in 6th grade.
Oh wow!
And it was not the greatest, but my parents were very understanding, so that was good.
Were they your players?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
And then I have a younger brother as well. But he would often get bored, so sometimes he'd wander off and come back.
Yeah.
But
I have players like that who are 40 years old.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was, oh goodness, I'm trying to remember. My stepfather created his own world, as most DMs are wont to do, and essentially gave me an island in it. And that's where I had my game. So my island was an island of elves, and there was a big tree, and then there were some ogres that had come in on one side of it, and they had to deal with the ogre threat and all that. So it wasn't too crazy or elaborate. It was just like, stop the invading ogres, because I thought ogres looked cool and wanted to have them play. So
I love that your stepdad was like, here, you have this island, and you can. It's your playground. Do whatever you want in there.
Yep.
In the homebrew. That's pretty cool.
And he loves doing the cartography stuff, so he even drew the map. Like I gave him kind of a halfway sketch, and so he's like, all right, here's what the island looks like, and it looked really so much better than my college ruled paper drawing.
Cartographers are awesome.
I know. I'm so jealous of that skill.
I bought a set of pens and some ruled paper recently, thinking to myself, I'm gonna work on my map making skills. And bad news, there's been no progress on it. I sketched one. I'm like, this is about the same as always. Wait a minute, I'm gonna have to put in 10,000 hours to get as good as those guys.
Gonna have to Malcolm Gladwell this up.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's gonna happen. I want to be Mike Schley or Dyson Logos or somebody, and I'm just not.
Can't jump right into it.
No.
Well, the funny thing is, many people say that about you. About like, I can't just jump into running a small publishing company that's doing awesome stuff.
It's totally easy. Cobalt Press only took 11 years.
Is that true, Meagan? Is it totally easy?
I still think I'm around because I don't say no when he sends me stuff.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, I keep waiting for the no. I'm like, oh, this is totally unreasonable. Hey, Meagan, can you turn this around by, Monday? Oh, she said, yeah. Oh, that's great. She's the best.
Now the real test is like, can you turn this around by yesterday?
Yeah.
No, I'm not quite that good.
No, soon. Yeah, when you get your
time traveling abilities. Yeah. What is it? Hermione has the little time turner. Yeah.
You could do that.
I'm pretty sure every editor gets one at a certain tier.
Yeah, so what training did you have to go through in order to become a techno editor?
The time turner.
Chronomancer.
Yeah. I think I've missed that. Or maybe I haven't.
I'm going to go do it right now. All right. I just did that training, and here's my Chronomancer.
Exactly.
It's my badge. But yeah, did you go to school for editing, or was that like something that you wanted to develop, or is that just how did you end up here?
So I wanted to go into linguistics, and then when I entered LSU, I went to Louisiana State University.
Oh, okay.
And,
go Shaq.
Yeah, what?
Didn't Shaq go there?
Oh, I don't know. I just know the Tigers are awesome.
Oh, okay.
That's
right. The yellow
outside
LSU.
They're purple and gold.
Purple and gold. Yeah.
We bleed gold. Purple and gold.
Sorry, gold.
Yeah.
I never understood how.
It's
many sports people are about like it's gold, not yellow. I'm like
it's very important that you get the shade right.
Exactly. It's canary, not
maroon and crimson are totally different. Okay.
You're right.
Exactly.
But I'm pretty sure Shaquille O'Neal went there. Just throwing that out there.
Okay. I haven't looked that up, so I don't know. Don't know about the history of LSU.
You didn't go to any basketball or see anything happening there?
No, I used to get really upset about the football games because tailgaters would arrive on Tuesday, and take up all the student parking with their RVs.
And the game was on Saturday.
And the game was on Saturday.
Saturday
So
game.
messed
Yeah. You guys don't understand the SEC, man. That's
It's pretty.
crazy.
It's a thing. Yeah. I lived in the South for a little while. And yeah.
I'm from the South, so.
Oh, nice. I was in North Carolina.
Oh, close
in
enough.
Durham. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. Only like 1,000 miles, 1,500. Nothing.
Something like that.
South
But
is
yeah, no,
the
they
place.
they pay very much close attention to not just football, but college football
College football
specifically.
specifically, yeah.
It's true. So you were trying to edit while there was tailgaters going on around you?
Basically, yeah. I wanted to go in linguistics, but they canceled their linguistics program around the same time I started college. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just go into English because that's close enough to editing, right? So, and then it's history after that. So
Nice. And you're like, I'm going to get a job working at Cobalt Press. And your dreams come true, so good job.
sure, yeah. Dream come true.
Nice. I took a linguistics class mostly because I knew Tolkien was a linguistics professor. So I'm like, if I'm going to do this, then it was totally not making up elf words.
We're
like
not
I thought
gonna-
it was going to
No,
be.
it's math. That's what I like about
Yeah.
it because it breaks it down into the math of language because language is math and math is a language. So
It was a math credit. That's half the reason why I took it too. 'Cause I'm like,
was
I get some math
shocked
credit
and
out of it.
amazed to learn that Minoan Linear B, one of these languages that has never been translated, they finally cracked it a year or two ago, and nobody told me. And how they cracked it? They gave it to an AI.
oh wow.
Really?
I'm like, well, yeah, apparently. They said, here's ancient Greek, here's Linear B. Do your stuff, AI. And it came back with enough for the humans to, like, do the rest. And I'm like, okay, our linguistics plugins are just a matter of years away.
Yep.
I hate to say this, Megan, but, at some point, maybe there will be AI editors.
Oh, yeah, that
Maybe
would
there will
awful.
be.
That would be terrible, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd like that.
I think there might be AI games
game
publishers.
designers, publishers, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be the first to be replaced.
No AI podcast hosts, though.
you sure?
That's not going to happen.
Voice synthesis.
This is brought to you by Skynet.
Hi, my name is.
Hi.
Right. See, Siri is already halfway there.
It's true.
She'll already talk to you.
So, do you communicate with your AI device? And when you do you use please and thank you?
I do communicate with it, but only because my children have taught me how. They're like, Siri, where's the zoo? Siri, get me ice cream. Siri, get me whatever. I'm like, kids, stop doing.
You're talking to a robot.
Right, text mom. I'm like, okay, no, there's no person there. I know, but I don't care. It does stuff.
So you don't use please and thank you. Then?
I don't use please
because
and thank you.
I when I talk to the Alexa thing, I'm always like, thank you, Alexa, for turning off the lights. You're a
See?
kind person. And sometimes I'll say Alexa and I don't actually want to do anything. I'll just like Alexa and I'll pause. I love you. And she always responds very kindly.
Oh,
Yeah.
see?
It's a special relationship.
We do, yeah.
They're like mimics in vocal form, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
They're not real people.
But are they? I don't know. What's the the Turing test is going to be
right.
passed
They-
eventually.
Well, they translated Linear B, so as far as I'm concerned, they're
Yeah.
smart.
So what is Linear B? That's my question.
It's like an ancient form of Greek from like the days of the Odyssey, right? So the Minoans and the Greeks had different ways of writing, different alphabets, and Linear B was the alphabet nobody could crack. And I sort of grew up with it in my limited understanding of linguistics as that thing no one will ever understand. So when somebody said they got it, I was kind of blown away.
Is it like they had writing?
It's a writing. It's a written
an
form.
alphabet, but they
It's just 4,000 years old, and it goes back to the days of Atlantis.
And there was no Rosetta Stone that had.
There was no Rosetta Stone, and
Yeah.
there's not enough of it for them to just brute force it, however they do it.
Except when they had the AI.
Except now, apparently they do. So I'm like, okay, we live in an age of wonders, and if I had to comprehend languages, it would have been easy, right? But without magic, we need our tech to pick up the slack.
Is that what that spell has been all about? You were throwing the AI at it this whole time?
This whole time.
to learn the halfling language or
Was it Asimov?
Abyssal?
Any sufficiently advanced technology?
Yeah, I think it was Clark, actually.
Or it was Clark.
Yeah.
You're right. It wasn't Asimov.
Stupid Asimov. He just did the 3. But if you ask Alexa the 3 laws of robotics, she rattles them off.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
See? So who was better, Clark or Asimov? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not into science fiction.
I don't See, it's another callback. We love it. Picking up steam. So this project, Creature Codex, you said you've been editing it this whole time. What's it like getting into the minutiae of editing something like this?
Well, I'm not, he's doing the actual design of the book. I'm mostly just focusing on each individual creature and making sure that each individual creature could stand on its own, operate on its own, that kind of thing, so that you could take this and put it wherever. So that's mostly what I'm doing, is just focusing on the individuals and making sure they work correctly, and then also making sure that, if we have a creature that blows exploding snot at somebody, that we don't have a second creature that throws exploding snot at somebody. It was one of my favorite second edition dragons. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a very specific thing that you were like, this is happening.
No, that's canonical D&D, Greg.
Yeah, that's the Amethyst Dragon's breath weapon. It blew geese that exploded. It was great.
Oh, Ed.
Gem dragons. I've been there. And the other thing that's going on now at this stage of the design and the editing process is we have multiple writers, right? And they all write a little differently and sometimes forget different things or work in a different way. So a large part of what I think of as editing work is making the whole thing feel like there's one voice. Right? Like it all's cohesive, and we don't have 16 werebats, demon bats, bat lords, whatever, what you said.
And making the language consistent, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, you can definitely tell, like, this author always does this. Okay, well, let's trim that down. And then this one never does that. Okay, well, let's add a little bit more to that, so we've got consistently.
Yeah. It takes a delicate touch, because you don't want to, as you said, take away their voice or make it so that their creativity doesn't come through.
Exactly, and that's the thing is because their passion works, right? I don't want to be like, your passion's stupid,
That's for the playtesters to do.
Right, exactly.
That's for you. That's your role.
Well, and me too. But I mean, we've got a playtest coming up for a lot of these monsters, especially the ones that have super weird powers that we're less confident in how they play, right? Yeah. And sometimes they do come back and crush dreams. It's like, it seemed like such a great idea to do time travel, but it doesn't work.
And it's almost too great of an idea.
Yeah.
Almost.
So how do you do that when you're doing a playtest for things like that? Do you just drop it into a story, or do you just create a scenario?
We brute force monster playtests. There are other ways to do it, right? But when you have 300-400 monsters and you want as many of them playtested as possible, what we do is we throw it out to people and say, all right, fill out this form, tell us what level your party is or what levels of play you're comfortable with, and we'll send you a packet that goes with that challenge, right? And so it'll be 5 monsters. They can drop them in anywhere they want and then throw us back a report. Like, you wipe everybody out. We were bored. We laughed at the snot dragon, right?
Any feedback is good feedback.
Well, honestly, we laughed at the snot dragon feedback is really useful because it may be that, we're disagreeing about, that's the dumbest, whatever. But if the playtesters come back and said, my group really laughed. I thought it was stupid. My group loved it. And it's like, okay, it works in play, right? Yeah. It's fun at the table. And sometimes it's really hard to tell that and anything humorous or dark or like you're not sure about the tone or what the reception is at the table. It's like, okay, put it out there with people who've just read it cold and are running it.
Yeah.
And that's incredibly helpful to end those kinds of arguments among creative types.
Yeah. And when the playtest, that's when you find out, because you can kind of imagine certain scenarios that some of these creatures will be in, but when it's actually out there and people are using it, they might use it in a scenario or in a way that you never would have thought of. Or like an interesting challenge or something for what they think is interesting for their players, and we're like, well, we never thought the creature would be in the water, but I guess it technically could be. All right.
Yep. And it made it much more dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
They can always find a way to make it either more dangerous or less dangerous.
Well, yeah, and sometimes it comes back. Like for Tome of Beasts, there was a sphinx, vulture sphinx. And everybody who got it was like, this is really cool, but sphinxes are supposed to know riddles, and there's even a riddle thing written into the powers. and there's no sidebar for riddles. So I had to go look some up, and you made me work. And I feel like, we failed, right? We shouldn't. The printed version of Tome of Beasts, the Vulture Sphinx, has a sidebar that is, here's 15 riddles in varying levels of difficulty. And
did you make those up? Did you make up new riddles, or were they cobbled from?
I think a couple are sort of classics, and I don't know, half are brand new. They're hard to dream up, honestly. Yeah. I wrote like 6 of them, and then I took 6 from the Greek mythology or whatever.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think it saves the game master a bunch of time. And they look smart in front of their players, right? Because it's like, we solved your first riddle. Sphinx says, I have more, right?
I've got 15 levels of riddles right here.
You want to go double or nothing? Right?
All of your magic items.
All right, and it sort of plays into that experience at the table where they just said, this was cool until the moment where I had to go look stuff up.
Yeah, right. And you're right. And puzzles and riddles are that thing that add a little bit of spice, even just to a monster book.
Right. And
to a campaign.
Oh, yes. Tombs of Annihilation full of puzzles, riddles, traps.
And puddles, because it rains quite a bit in the jungles.
Yes. Dinosaurs race through it. It's a mess.
It's a mess. You don't know what puddle is your step. It could be viscera. It could be dinosaur poop.
Don't inquire too closely.
Exactly. And don't drink it, please, for the love of all that's holy.
Jungle parasites. I'm sure there's a sidebar.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few. But yeah, no, that's super cool, and it's good that you got that feedback, so you can be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. We can add it to the thing, and being agile enough to put that in. I mean, that's smart. Yeah. Do you ever come up with stuff like that as you're looking at these different monsters together? That like, it would be really great if there was X or some way to bridge these, like where they're just too disparate.
I mean, there are times where I'll point out that, hey, there feels like there's something missing here. Or in one of my recent edits, we had 2 different creatures that in their bite, I think one of them had a claw, one had a bite, and each of them put a disease in the person right when it hit. And the diseases worked very similarly, and they had like the same name. Or a very similar name, and I was like, yeah, well, let's change this. So I didn't do any changing, but it's my job to kind of bring that back to the designers and be like, hey, I know it's 2 different people, but you guys kind of went along the same vein here. Let's try and change this up a little bit and see if we can give a little more diversity to it. Yeah, so in the iterations of those monsters now, they're very different diseases and completely different names now. So it's cool. Little things like that I'm supposed to be catching. So.
Yeah, that's great, and that's a great like bird's eye view that nobody would be able to see without being at this step of the process.
Yep.
2 questions for you. One is, do you feel that I don't know how to get this out there without making it sound like that there's not enough editing going into RPG stuff? Do you feel like I want to like elevate that idea, because everyone's like, oh, you always need a good editor to go through your stuff, not just for the feedback, but for that it's a worthy part of the development process that more people should do. Do you feel that you want to be like an advocate for editors a little bit more? Because I used to be one, so I'm on
advocate. I don't know. It makes me sound like an activist out with a sign.
I know, right? Like, go editors, they're awesome. Yeah. But they are. Go editors, you're awesome.
You're awesome.
What I like better about editing is more content editing, and I think that's where there's kind of a lack, because most people assume editors are just like proofreaders.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean,
no one
I
understands the distinction who isn't in the field.
Right, yeah. Exactly. And I mean, I can do that, but I mean, so can Siri, right? I mean, my role is more of making sure that the content matches, or that there's things like with those 2 diseases, right? And I think that's something that isn't necessarily seen in the RPG world, because a lot of the RPG world editors are, or just in books in general, editors are just proofreaders, essentially. And
that's not fair. There are many editors who are content editors.
That's true. There are a lot, but there are also a lot that don't do as much content.
Right. And especially, I think only the larger companies can afford it or value it. Right? Like, if you're a tiny little shop, you're happy if someone proofreads at all. Right. Whereas if you're, Wizards of the Coast, you can afford awesome editors, right?
Right. What I'm trying to get is that it's still a vital part of the thing, even if you are a small publisher. If you have the means, or it's worth at least finding an editor who says it costs too much to do that. But like it's a vital step of the process that I think most people. I just want to make sure they know.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you 100%. And I honestly, speaking as a publisher and a consumer of RPG stuff, it's like if things haven't been well edited, I just think less highly of the company behind it, right?
Right.
It's like this was sloppy. And everybody's sloppy sometimes, but if you're bringing in an editor, then you're less sloppy. You're elevating the quality of the stuff you're putting out there. And you see this on everything from DM's Guild to, AAA Xanathar's guides.
Mm-hmm.
The better the text is, the more audience reaction you get to it, right? People are like, it was fun to read. I'm excited about it. The designer did their job. The editor did their job. But only the designer gets the credit.
There's an editing credit. She said her name's in the book. She's very excited about that.
I don't need my face on it or anything like that. We're all good.
Right, we can put your name on the front, right? So.
But no pressure there. Editors are great. They're key. Yeah, thanks for all the pressure.
Well, I've been there too, but I'm not saying editors are perfect. I'm just saying that, wow, thank goodness we have them.
I know. I want more of them out there. So how could people, if they, if they're listening or paying attention to this, they might want to offer their services as an editor to RPG people going forward? What would you suggest people do?
Talk to people like Wolfgang mostly.
All right.
I mean, I met him at a convention. So going to conventions, having like your business card and being like, hey, I'll freelance edit for you. A lot of people that are looking for freelance editors will have editing tests already set up. Yep. And they're willing to send that to people and be like, hey, how well do you do on this test? Let me see what your editing style is like and things like that. Because a lot of RPG companies do have kind of like a treasure trove of freelance writers and freelance editors that they dip into occasionally when they have too much for their core staff.
Right.
And that's the pool that you want to get into. Yeah. You want to be part of that. And that all is as simple as taking a business card to them, meeting them at a convention and saying, hi, I do stuff. Let me do stuff for you.
That's true. You got to be forthcoming for sure. Yeah. And then you mentioned, you went to school for linguistics and then English. Is there like a specific training for it that you could recommend to people?
Oh, goodness. I don't know.
Or not. I mean, is it more of a thing you kind of pick up through consuming this kind of stuff?
I mean, my linguistics and editing background definitely helped. I mean, because I have, a more intimate relationship with the English language than somebody else might that didn't go through all of that.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is just proving that you can do it, and that's usually the harder part. Which also comes down to, getting those editing tests and then getting the feedback too, right? Because people like Wolfgang will be like, hey, I don't want to use you right now, but here's why. You can usually ask, hey, why? What did I do incorrectly? What would you have liked to have seen me do differently, and things like that.
But don't put any profanity in that.
Yeah, no.
Why didn't I pass? Blank.
Blank is blank.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do that.
Editors know all the words, especially the bad ones.
That's
it's amazing.
True.
You get a foul-mouthed editor going. That's
what I've been trying to do this whole interview is get Meagan on a tirade here.
This is not going to happen.
I want some colorful metaphors being thrown around.
Well, then I got to pull up my Shakespearean app.
Yeah, right, exactly. I bite my thumb at you.
Yep.
You wastrel.
He was pretty good.
He
came up with some very good...
some insults we retain, yeah.
To this day.
Stephen Fry's pretty good at it, too. If you ever get to hear some of his, he's got some colorful ones.
He does a lot of linguistic stuff like that, too, where he goes back and looks at idioms and things like that, right?
He is tons of fun to watch.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. All right, so watch Stephen Fry, read Shakespeare. Any other tips?
Play more D&D.
Play more D&D.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Well, that is, I think, for me, that's key, is knowing the content, right? I mean, because you could be the best editor in the world, but if you don't know what D&D is, you can't really edit D&D, right?
Right. Yeah. No, and I've talked to people who are like editing, trying to get editors to do, say, memoirs and get them to do RPG stuff, and it's. Yeah, you spend all your time teaching them what RPG stuff are, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So know your content.
Right.
And
that really helps me, too, with Monsters, because I DM and I play. And I'm like, as a player, I don't know. As a DM, I would feel terrible.
But
See, but then we got to get you more of an angry DM who's going to destroy the players more often.
Everyone's got their style, right?
That's true.
Some let the players destroy themselves.
That's the best medicine.
Oh, yes.
For sure. Well, I'm excited about this this project about
Creature Codex.
Creature Codex. I keep wanting to call it Electric Boogaloo, so I apologize.
I knew that logo was going to haunt me.
It's true. Can I just get, like, when the copy comes, I'll buy it, and then I'll just tape Electric Boogaloo on the front of it?
I'm about this close to saying, we're just going to give every backer an Electric Boogaloo sticker just to get it out there.
Yeah. Me and Shelly be on it?
Yes.
Hey.
See, exactly.
Yeah. We'll participate in that. That sounds like fun.
All right, we'll bring you in for the promotional video, the dance-off launch video.
Oh my gosh, you're doing a dance-off launch video.
We are now.
You heard it here. Everyone knows. And now I got to practice my dance moves as well as my editing skills.
Elven dance music.
Yes, we got to get some EDM going on here. Ryan's going to cook it up pretty soon. Awesome, guys. So where can people... It's running now. The Kickstarter is now.
Kickstarter. It ends January 5th. If you back it for even $1, you can submit a monster of your own to the pile. Maybe it goes into the final book, maybe not, but give it a shot.
If you donate $1, can you also do an editing test to see if you can become an editor for the book?
I'm not checking that many editing tests. Those are mostly by reference.
Dang it! It's really trying to elevate. The
editors. I got to
meet
those people in person.
All right, that makes sense.
A bad editor. You don't want to get me started on what a bad editor.
Well, that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah. That's where I bring out the Shakespeare dictionary.
Nice. So it's Creature Codex. It's on Kickstarter. You can find it with a quick Google search, I'm sure.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Nice. And where can people find out about you guys personally? If you want people to find out about you.
I'm still on Twitter at Monkey King, and I guess I'm on Facebook. I don't Facebook as much as I used to.
You on Friendster?
No.
Yeah, me neither. MySpace?
No. Yeah. GeoCities?
Oh, you probably still have a website up still of GeoCities with the...
I still have a live journal somewhere. Oh my God, people, don't look. It's embarrassing.
What about you, Meagan? Where can people ask you questions about how to become an all-star RPG editor?
Oh, God. Well, I have a Twitter, but that's about it. The GM Moonwolf is pretty much, and I don't really do too much with it. I use it mostly to follow people. The only reason I created it was to follow Goblins, which is a webcomic that's really awesome.
Nice.
Don't know if you guys have heard of it, but they're a D&D webcomic, and they're pretty awesome. Yeah.
I got to check them out.
Yeah.
Is it Goblins with an S or with a Z?
Goblins with an S.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
If it had been a Z, that would have, right, come on.
You're a yes on the Z?
No.
Okay, good. All right, phew.
I'm not down with
that. I thought we were going to have
we're not.
blows.
No.
There was going to be some fisticuffs.
I am of an elder generation, a more civilized time.
I only use the Z, ironically. Does that count? I'm a child of the 90s.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
You Fresh Prince and your...
And your Bratz.
And your Bratz.
Doll.
Oh, my God.
You remember those?
Yes. The logo.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember seeing them. I was of an age where I was like, what are they making these for? It's the wrong message for children. I was like, 16 at the time or something like that. I'm like, why would they do this?
Now look at you
and
your...
Who's their target audience?
I know.
Your Drizzt and your Doers and your Menzo Baranzas.
There's a lot of Z's in there.
There's a lot of Z's here.
At least there's no apostrophes in our dragon.
Which one?
There are lots of apostrophes.
There are a lot of apostrophes. Too many.
Too many out there. Well, thank you guys for braving the traffic and coming down to sunny Renton or foggy Renton, as the case may be. And it was good to have you.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. We'll be back with more stuff in 2018.
Oh my God, it's almost here.
I know, right?
All right.
So go back. Creature Codex. I said it right.
You got it.
I said it right. Right now. And that's it for this edition of Dragon Talk. We're going to sign out. We're getting out of here. Woo-hoo. We're done.
We're done.
Bye, everybody. All right. Are we still on the Twitches, right? All right, good. See, Pelham knows. He did and then the thumbs up. He knew I was going to talk more, right? Now Ryan knows. Thank you guys so much for being with us on this recording today. You guys are good people. I get to look at the chat here for a little bit and see what they're talking about. There's elven trances they're talking about. That was Stan. Hi, Stan.
Oh, man, I should have talked about the elvish magic thing we did.
You did an elvish magic thing?
Yeah, special high elven magic. It is a deep magic 5e supplement in PDF only, and I had the perfect hook. I could have talked about it.
We can talk about it now.
Right.
The Twitch people will know.
The Twitch people will know. They already know, apparently.
Well, they do. They are. Yeah, right. It's true. Magic knows goblins. I don't know what that means, but I think we're going to start buying those. Or is that from the... no,
It's a blind pack Hasbro product in Garbage Pail Kids tradition.
You heard it here? Oh, my God, that would be great. We should totally do that.
Nose goblins.
And they're all like booger amethyst dragons.
Yes.
Every single one.
That would be awesome.
All right. What is editing? That was a question. What is editing?
I think we got there.
We covered it. I think we covered it. What do you think, Drop X Dead X Ed? Do you think we covered what is editing in that interview? If not, I'm sorry. We will cover it right about now. All right. Goblin Kids. Dungeons and Dragons. Everything's going to be Z's from now on.
It's all Z's.
It's all happening.
You did it to yourself.
I know.
Yep.
I know. I feel bad. It's like I did the worst thing for me. All right. Well, thank you, all of you who have been paying attention for this.
This long.
This long, exactly. Yes, thank you. And for watching us all on Twitch on these Mondays. We're going to take a bunch of Mondays off. So enjoy the holidays as much as you can. I know it's going to be hard to do when you can't watch us on a Monday.
No Dragon Talk? What? My life is empty.
Exactly. I
All
know.
right.
Well, we'll still listen to it on the podcast.
When does it start up again?
January 8th.
Okay.
We'll be recording here live January 8th, starting at 2 p.m. Pacific time. I actually know who's going to be doing that interview, but I'm not going to tell you because I don't have it in front of me.
It's okay.
I think with all these screens I would have it in front of me.
It's coming back. There's light at the end of that tunnel.
It's coming back, but we're going to recharge, get better at chronomancy. That was one of our failings in 2017.
New Year's resolution, master chronomancy.
Yep. It's a good one. It's admirable.
It's true, right? It takes a skill. It takes some learning. We'll get there. I need some scrolls. I need some magic items to make it happen. So if you know any magic items out there that I should take, you let me know. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Greg Tito. Ask me any questions about how to get Z's into the end of product names or anything about Dungeons & Dragons. I'll be here in the office, so pester me as much as you want for the next couple of weeks. But until then, I will see you guys recording live on January 8th for Dragon Talk, but I'll also be here tomorrow for D&D news around 3:15, leading up to Dice Camera Action tomorrow. It's a special episode tomorrow because no Dungeon Master.
What?
There'll be no Dungeon Master in
Heresy.
tomorrow's yeah, exactly. Mark Holmes is going to be interviewing the characters of Dice Camera Action and figuring out where they came from. Should be lots of fun. He's playing a Tortle Bard.
Tortle. I wanted to hate them, but I kind of love them.
They're so
I
cute.
know, right?
Yeah, they really are.
How could you not?
Oh, I don't know. They're slow.
They're very slow
But other than that, they're perfect.
in every way, especially their shells. And then we've got some other fun stuff coming up, including a Dice Camera Action the 19th, December 19th, in which Matthew Lillard will be guest starring in that. It's going to be pretty exciting. He might be playing... actually, I do know what he's playing. It's going to be a Tabaxi who is off his rocker.
That's every Tabaxi, but okay.
But even more so.
Yay,
Yes,
cat people.
Exactly. But you'll find out more about that hopefully in the next episode or so. All right. Well, thank you guys, everybody. I'm done. I'm going to sign off. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. You're good people. I'm going to keep waving until it all continues.
Until it all ends and the lights go out.
Goodbye.